I had a very disappointing deer season this year. I went out about 10 times, and it went 3 to 4 hours every time. And gosh, I was away from my family for probably 30 to 40 hours during the season. And daylight savings, you can stay out in Iowa until 7 o'clock at night up until Halloween. And so I was out a lot. I was gone in the mornings. And the first 3 or 4 hunts that I had, I didn't see a thing. And I went back to my money stands, as I would call them. And perhaps you guys are familiar with that sort of thing, where you have a stand, you just always see nice deer. Not necessarily within shooting range, but you always see what's going on. And gosh, you just had a frustrating season. And the more I reflected on it as I came home, I think my wife, as I talked to her, she'd say, how was your season? And did you see anything? And I'd say, I just didn't see a thing, and I don't know where they are. And she would be bummed out with me for a while. But I think about after probably time 4 or 5 of going through this frustration and this discontentment, and I probably took it out, unfortunately, somewhat on them, my aggravation. And to be honest with you, I hate to say this, but I'm sure my wife is probably happy that this season is over. I always try to pull it in by Thanksgiving, as we have family things going on. And so I just found myself just discontent. And so I got to thinking about, as I was reading in the Bible, I got to thinking about Apostle Paul and his ministries and the ups and downs in his ministries, and to kind of parallel it to my deer season. I've had good deer seasons, I've had good deer hunts, and I had good ones this year. I'm not saying they were all bad, but Paul says in Philippians 4, he talks about finding the secret to contentment in all circumstances, and he says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I think that's a verse that so many times I've misapplied in my life, because I've thought, well, I can go out and do this great stuff because Christ will strengthen me to do it. And really what Paul's talking about there is that you derive your strength from Christ to get through anything, not to do anything. So my question to you guys out there, did you have a frustrating season? I'm sure some of you shot big deer, and we've seen pictures, and it's exciting. Perhaps some of you are like me, and you didn't see anything worthwhile. Or perhaps you shot a big one and you could never recover him. The question I have is, are you seeking strength from Christ even now to go and kill a big deer? Are you happy with the strength Christ gives you because you got to go out? Because Paul says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And that's the secret to contentment. Contentment's not found in the doing. Contentment's found in the having a relationship with Christ. So are you fellas content?